So here's the thing. The first question is, the situation causing my pain or anger, as I perceive it now, is this. And I want you to be the biggest, whiniest victim you can be on this question, okay? And by the way, this is something you're going to do in writing. It's not done out loud. You're not sharing this information with anyone. I should share that with you. This is absolutely, totally respectful of your privacy. No one is going to know what or who you are working with. Got it? All right, so you can write as whatever you want to write, because you're not going to share this with anybody. You'll probably just throw this stuff away at the end anyway. I want you to write out, be the complete victim, and talk about how screwed up that whole situation is, and you can be as at the effect as you want. In fact, what you want to be is you want to be that musician. I forget what her name is. She sings that song that's just totally about living at the effect. The American Idol lady. Because of you, I can't cross the sidewalk. Because of you, I can't do this. What would? Kelly Clarkson, yeah. You want to be Kelly Clarkson, okay? And just talk about all the bad things that are going on because of that person, right? And number two is, you're going to ask the question, confronting whoever it is. So anytime there's a blank, by the way, you're going to, in your mind, you're going to fill in that blank with that person's name. If you're working with yourself and you're forgiving yourself, say, confronting myself, confronting me. I am upset with me because blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? All right. Now, when you do this one, once again, total victimhood here. You do not have to be enlightened. I don't want you to be. I want you to just go to town and you just talk about what an SOB that person was or is, or if it's you just talk about how screwed up you drank that Red Bull, you disrespected your body, you're a little hypocrite for talk, whatever, okay? Just go to town with it. Number three, because of what you did or are doing, I have been feeling, and what I want you to hear is just write an inventory of all of the emotions. Like when I went through this with the U2 girl, man, I had a whole list of emotions. It wasn't just anger, it wasn't betrayal, but there was like sadness, and there was depression, and there was low self-esteem. I just wrote everything there, okay? Just make a whole inventory of that. Number four, I lovingly acknowledge and accept these emotions. Now start listening to the presuppositions in these statements. They're just beautifully created, by the way, if I do say so myself. Okay, I lovingly acknowledge and accept these emotions, and I will judge them no more. This is not saying you're letting them go. This is not saying that they're wrong. This is not saying that they're right. Just accept it and just go, okay, you know what? I got low self-esteem. I'm filled with hate. I'm filled with resentment. And it is what it is. Got it? No judgments. That's all you're doing in that thing. And you don't even have to wholeheartedly take it. You just have to be willing to accept it. You just have to be willing to accept them. Does that make sense? Got it. Okay. Number five, I own these emotions. No one can make me feel anything. My feelings are a result of how I have interpreted the situation, not because of the situation itself. That's very much about cause and effect. I think you guys would be willing to accept that one. Number six, even though I don't know why or how, I acknowledge that my unconscious mind created this situation in order that I may evolve and in order that I may learn and evolve into a greater being. Once again, this is just about being willing to accept this notion that there is a higher order and a higher purpose, and that everything serves a purpose in this world. It's just whether we choose to accept that notion or not. Number seven, I'm noticing some signs in my life, such as repeating patterns and other coincidences, that have indicated that I may have had many such healing opportunities in the past, but I didn't recognize them at that time. For example, now you got to go to work. So you're going to write down all of the key patterns in your life, this coincidences, if you will, that led you, that gave you the clues. So for example, for me, on this one here, I was like noticing some signs in my life, repeating patterns and other coincidences. I was like, okay, you know what? There were signs from the very first date with the U2 girl. And I ignored them. In fact, I even tell people, I say, they weren't even signs. She actually had those little airplane beacon lights, and she was waving like this for me to go, and I ignored them, okay? There were a lot of signs, but I dug even deeper because I really wanted to let this go. And what I did is I also noticed that not only were there loads of signs in that relationship, but there were loads of times in my life where I had similar patterns popping up. I kept ignoring the signs so many times, finally the universe said, look, dude, you're not going to listen? We're going to let a brick wall drop on you now. Right? And it still took me 2 years to pull out the rubble and realize, oh, that hurt. Number 8, I'm willing to acknowledge that one of my missions or purposes in life included having experiences just like this for whatever reason. And that one I wasn't too eager on, but I was at least willing to accept the notion. Yep. Now I'm wholeheartedly accepting of the emotion, but in the beginning I was just willing to go there. Number 9, my discomfort I've experienced in the past was my signal that I was withholding love for myself and this person by judging, holding expectations, or wanting this person to be someone that they are not. Now this is where I started to make a shift. And all of a sudden I was like, crap, okay, yeah, you know what? If I didn't like it and didn't accept it, I always had the option of leaving, but I stayed in there, right? And that was a real big pill for me to swallow on this one, I got to tell you. Number 10, this discomfort that I've experienced in the past was my signal that I was seeing myself and this person as less than excellent. And then you want to just list the judgments, expectations, and behaviors that indicated that you were wanting that person to change. And that was easy for me, man. I had a whole page on all the stuff I wanted her to change. Right? There was a half page of the stuff that I wanted to change, but it was easy to be able to fill that up. But what happened was, as I did that, I started to realize, I started to go, wow, okay, these events that happened were not her fault. They were the creation of my own behaviors or lack of behaviors. That's where it really started shifting for me. Number 11, I accept the notion that perception is projection. And I now realize that I only get upset when someone resonates in me those projections in me that I've disowned, denied, or repressed. Now that one I hated. How could I be projecting violence onto her? And then I realized something. You know what? I have a pretty cutting tongue. I mean, hell, I'm a master trainer in NLP. You don't want to argue with me. I'll win every time. Even if I'm wrong, I'll still think I won. I'll convince myself. Yep, I won. Woo! You know? And I realized, yeah, you know what, I've got a pretty cutting tongue. And believe me, you know, it's really easy for me to sit up here and talk about the U2 girl, about how violent she was. Believe me, if she were standing on the stage over there, she'd tell you a totally different reality. I egged her on. I'll admit it. I mean, there were times where I teed up the ball, I held it, and I let her kick it, you know? So I realized, yeah, maybe, you know, the fact is, all of these behaviors, they're not appropriate. I don't condone them. But you know what? I might have instigated them. I could have been the fuel to that fire because I do have a cutting tongue.